Hey y'all, it's Riot. Welcome back to another week of Weekly Hyperfixations. We're kind of all over the place this week because I've been so entrenched in theater stuff that I've just kind of missed the mark in like broadening my hyperfixations this week. So we're kind of honing in a little. So um now I'm looking at it again because I do my notes ahead of time, and it's really interesting to like see how all over the place it is, like physically on my notes. Okay. So, first and foremost, I am not a BTS enjoyer. But they have all come back from deployment and have subsequently announced their first tour as a group again. So a lot of the world's gonna be going batshit insane right now. Because it's BTS. Yeah. Don't know what else really to say that. They came back from their mandatory service and now they're finally all back from that. So new music and tour in the works. For some damn reason, the EPA here in America, the EPA is considering removing the ban on asbestos, even though we know it to cause so many things, including cancer. Why? It was bad enough that they wanted to gut OSHA, and they did. Okay. I'm gonna try and get through all of the negative stuff so we can kind of just ramp up afterwards, okay? Microsoft shut down a game studio called The Initiative. They were in the process of making a Perfect Dark reboot, so that's now just been canceled out of like nowhere. So this is another one of those scenarios where Microsoft bought something but then didn't know what to do with it, so then they just dismantle it, functionally taking out a competitor through a long con. Not good. Especially since that means that a lot of people lost their jobs because of this. Anything else? The only other negative thing I have on here, and it's not entirely negative, remember, you may remember from the previous episode and perhaps also the episode before that, but I know this was mentioned last episode, that Mr. Beast had made an AI thumbnail generator thing that cost like $80 a month to use, and he publicly announced that it literally learns from YouTube, which means it's stealing a bunch of people's content. He took it down and deleted it. So bullying does work. Congratulations, everyone. Peer pressure works. So, I can't remember now. I can't remember this next point. I can't remember what the podcast is called, but Steve Burns is making a podcast. And I do know that there are some people in my audience who might be too young to know about this. Also, I don't know if the show got much outside of America, but he is the original guy from Blue's Clues, the children's show. So he's kind of just making a podcast that seems to be about like kind of giving people who were the age to have seen him in Blue's Clues another a good role model type anchor in all of the chaos that's going on in this country. So that's really good. I found out about that actually right after filming last week's episode, so I did want to make sure to make it known in this one. It's really hard to find him on social media for some reason, but okay. This is big news for at least one mutual of mine. Minecraft had a mob vote not that long ago that had I believe that vote was copper golems, the little bush shaped guy. I can't remember what that was called. Even though that was the one I liked the most, I couldn't remember its name. Those little... I feel like it starts with a G. But there were the little bush creatures that, like, detected if it was completely dark in a place. The glare, maybe? I can't remember. And then the LA, which is the one that won, I think. That's the blue flying thing. And then the copper golem. I think that was that vote. It might have been the crab instead. I don't remember. I know the glare was one of them, but they decided, hey, we're actually going to bring copper golems because a lot of people, you know, a lot of fans made the point like, hey, not making copper golems kind of made copper useless. They like made some structure blocks when the trials update came out, but that still wasn't a lot. But now not only are they adding copper golems, but they are adding copper tools and armor, which is really interesting because I assume there will still be some sort of issue with like deterioration, oxidization of the copper when it's armor and tools, which is really interesting. Let's see. So big day for exactly one of my mutuals. I really like copper golems. I've spent some time in modded Minecraft with them and I really like them. They're so cute and I'm really glad that we do get them. And in fact, we get more out of them this time. That's really nice. Also, this means there's still hope for the Moo Bloom. Also big for that same mutual. So, let's see here. I've been really into the Deltarune 3 and 4 soundtrack, and I really my big picks from the Deltarune 3 and chapters 3 and 4 are a dark zone or a dark place, a dark zone. Jackenstein's song. Really big fan of Jackenstein's song. Black Knife, also very into. Raise Your Bat. Knock You Down, even though this version is the rhythm version, either version of Knock You Down. Knock You Down's from chapter 2, but the rhythm version is in chapter 3. Both are amazing. Any song relating to Mr. Antenna, banger. But I think the best ones for like getting things done for me, because I need to have a repeating song, is Rooter Buster and Airwaves. Specifically Airwaves. It's definitely not playing in the headphone in my ear right now, so I can focus. Okay. Where else did that? Oh yeah. I did unfortunately completely miss it. But a couple days ago, David Gilbert hosted the first Pokemon game show officially on the Pokemon Twitch in association with the Pokemon Company International. So much in that sentence. Big fan. Very excited to see, you know, I watched David Gilbert when he was still with Polygon. So like seeing him grow and expand his repertoire and do all of these big things is great. Let's see. Oh yeah. I don't know if this is anywhere aside from Instagram, which is a really weird way of starting this off, but I genuinely, that's the sentence. But the Superman promotional account on Instagram for James Gunn's upcoming Superman, they have one of those broadcast channels that are kind of just like an announcement channel for an account that you can follow and get text updates directly from whoever's running the account, you know? And they've been putting in, you know, sharing some community fan art, sharing some pictures from like set, and also showing snippets of Daily Planet articles, and I really enjoy those because it really shows that like they've put a lot of effort into each character and into the set, because this means that the props team has put these together and made these, and there's likely physical copies of them on set. So it's really cool to see that, especially as someone who works with props a lot. It's really cool to see. Let's see. What else? I feel like there's a couple more things. Oh yeah. Marvel Rivals announced season 3. It's got Jean Grey because it's Phoenix, and Clintar and Null in the symbiotes. The characters that we're for sure getting are Blade. He finally woke up. Blade and Jean Grey. And then most people are assuming we will also get Null because they showed a full design for Null. So that's very exciting. Also exciting for me because I really want them to add more X-Men, and there's like three or four X-Men that I would really like to see in this game. And one of them is Jean Grey's husband. And when he's not Jean Grey's husband, he's Emma's husband, like once. So he's probably going to be in the game at some point. So I'm really excited about that. Also, it's become public that Marvel Rivals does in fact have the rights to use any Marvel character, any and all Marvel characters. So this game genuinely could just keep going for like ever. You know what I mean? So that's really exciting. It's also really exciting for one of my moots because with all of the focus on Clintar, there's a higher chance that Carnage and or Shriek would be added to the game. So big day for Oomph. Yeah. Okay, the final thing I have in the normal list of things, a la not the pyramid, is there was a Franz Ferdinand concert, and Peter Capaldi, the guy who played the 12th Doctor in Doctor Who, just showed up on stage and started singing with him. Hey, yo, what? Hey. And I really appreciate it because, of course, the entire internet was like, oh, that's not Peter Capaldi. That's the 12th Doctor. We're witnessing a Doctor Who episode live. Because the most popular GIF, I think, that I've seen of the 12th Doctor, it was the first GIF I ever saw of the 12th Doctor, actually, was him playing electric guitar on top of a tank. So, I believe it. I haven't finished watching his seasons. I've gotten maybe a season in, so not very many episodes into his run. I completely believe. I love the memes, and I am wholeheartedly with them on that. It's just really funny to me. Okay. Our pyramid's a little silly. Excuse me, Jesus. Ugh. The pyramid this week is a little bit silly. The pyramid this week is really silly to me because I threw it together moments before hitting record. And I kind of just threw it together. So here we go. First up on the pyramid is the copper golem in Minecraft. Listen, gotta love a little guy. Just a little guy, you know? Every good game needs a funky little guy, even if it's not in the whole game. It is kind of like a mascot, I guess, but it's not necessarily like the mascot. Like if you think in terms of Studio Ghibli, each Ghibli movie has its own little guy. And they're kind of individual symbols for that movie, but it's not the overall Ghibli symbol. And then, so that's kind of how I feel with the copper golem, because the symbol of Minecraft is most assuredly the creeper. But I do think that every game needs a good little guy. And there's a lot of little guys in Minecraft, don't get me wrong. But I am particularly attached to these little guys because they have a lot of movement. For, you know, they just have a lot more depth, I feel. And, you know, people would argue with me on that, but I feel like they have more depth because, you know, they're creatures that unless you take proper care of them, they'll stop working, but they won't die, which is nice. I feel like also world exploration will be fun because it's always fun when you're playing Minecraft to bring, you know, some sort of pet or creature or something home when you've been exploring. Usually, you know, it's like a dog or a cat or a parrot. On occasion, if you find, you know, an outpost, you're gonna bring home an allay with you, maybe a panda, something like that. So just having something that's technically not alive, but is something you can bring back from an exploration, it just feels good. It gives that serotonin boost, that dopamine boost. Not serotonin, I meant dopamine. It gives that dopamine boost, and that's really why people play games. So I'm very excited about it. Also, because the copper golem is heralding in all of the new armor and tools that are also being made out of copper. That makes me think that they've maybe added a little something from when they first pitched the copper golem to the fans. So I'm very excited about it. And that's why the copper golem's on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Toby Fox. I haven't been able to get a single Deltarune song out of my head this week. The second one goes out of my head, it's a different one. Right now it's Airwaves. Right? Airwaves. It's previously been like It's TV Time, and now for today's sponsors, Mike, show us the board. Black Knife, mostly Black Knife. Really like Black Knife. Really like Raise Your Bat. Really like Knock You Down. My brain's just been bouncing around different Toby Fox songs from Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 this past week. Gotta acknowledge it. Also, the game's a banger. I don't know how we're only halfway through. It feels like there's not much room to go up, but there is, because there has to be, you know? So that's crazy to me. And that's why Toby Fox is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid, and this is the weird one on the pyramid. I was like, what else have I been really into this week that isn't silly per se? I've talked about it a lot. I'm a theater kid. And I've been really hyperfixating on Phantom of the Opera this week. Out of like nowhere. I don't think I've heard anyone mention it this week at all, or last week even. So next up on the pyramid is Andrew Lloyd Webber, because he wrote a banger. Cannot deny he wrote a banger. He's written a bunch of other musicals, but the Phantom, someone cooked here, you know? Like, I've been particularly fixated on the overture and just the whole opening, really. The whole first, like, 3 songs of opening with the auction and everything. I really love that show. So Andrew Lloyd Webber's on the pyramid because he's responsible for Phantom of the Opera. That's the whole tweet right there, you know? Yeah. Next up on the pyramid is, in fact, Brian David Gilbert. Because he one time did, you know, he's done a full poker app, he's done rating Pokemon by their edibility, and now he's done an actual official Pokemon game show for Pokemon live, you know, it's just like a huge career step. And I'm generally a big fan of his work and just how he's quite similar to this is a really weird segue, but it's a little similar to the Copper Golem in that just a little guy. And I know he's not, but like he has the vibe of just like some scrimbly dude. And I appreciate that. Plain and simple. So, also, I still think every day about his Zelda timeline video. I also rewatched his Kingdom Hearts video because yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts. I have to watch that video every once in a while because I've never played Kingdom Hearts. And I therefore want to refresh myself on what happens. And that's the easiest, most efficient way for me to get through all of that information. So that's why David Gilbert is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Megan Thee Stallion. Literally just because she cosplayed Luffy and I went, hell yeah. Hell yeah, absolutely. Listen, Megan Thee Stallion's a beautiful woman. She doesn't need much more reason to be on the pyramid. This time it's because of a cosplay, so, you know, it'd be like that. It's just, I just love that she's just not ashamed to be like, yeah, I like anime. Want to see me cosplay? Want to see me do it again? Because, like, when I was growing up and getting into anime, anime was, like, something no one fucking watched. And it was like a very hidden community. It was not like very public outside of like, you know, cons like SakraCon and stuff and Anime Expo and stuff like that. But so seeing someone super, super famous, like worldwide famous, be so chill with anime and so nonchalant in like, yeah, I watch anime is crazy to me. And I know it's more common now, but seeing the extra layer of cosplay is also another layer of like, that used to be considered really weird and now it's not. And it's becoming more normal whenever she cosplays a character. So that's why Megan Thee Stallion's on the pyramid. Number one on the pyramid is Peter Capaldi. Because gotta respect a dude who, I don't know how everything for the 12th Doctor was written, but it kind of feels at this point like they wrote it specifically to have Peter Capaldi be the Doctor, because even other things he's done in his life also feel like the 12th Doctor. So I don't know. It's also just fun to have a good, this would be a really good Tumblr moment back in like 2012 or even 2016, which was around the time I think that he became the Doctor, maybe. I can't remember. But it's a big deal within Doctor Who fandom. Which is one of my, I guess you would call it original fandoms. Not really. I only started classifying things as fandoms at a certain point, and it was when I was super into Doctor Who. Now I'm still kind of on the edge of it. Highly considering going back. I also have a friend who's watching it. Literally today was watching Doctor Who. They watched the Lazarus episode. It's a terrible CGI. Yeah. But it was just a big, good fandom moment. And also, out of all of the Doctors, all of the people who have played the Doctor, it does feel like the most chill one was Peter Capaldi. Just in terms of like dude just seemed like he was just like the whole time he was doctor, you know what I mean? And he's just jamming the whole time he was the doctor. So yeah, that's why he's on the pyramid. Oh wow, that's everything. That's crazy. All right, hopefully the video will be on time next week. There's a chance it won't, because tomorrow's tech week and performance, so I've got a lot on my plate. But yeah, I mean, I'll see y'all. Oh, it's the 4th tomorrow. Whatever. I'm not one for it. Fireworks are cool and all, but it's I don't know. I got D&D on Saturday. I like that more. I'm more excited about D&D on Saturday than the 4th of July tomorrow. You know what I mean? Way more excited about Dungeons and Dragons, as I always will be. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, next week's upload could be rocky on the timing. We shall see. I may have to prep the video way early before Friday because performance. But yeah, I hope y'all have a good one. And a good week next week. Make sure to stay cool. It's been quite hot pretty much everywhere recently. Stay hydrated where applicable. If you're experiencing that like really high humidity thing, remember not to drink cold water outside. It's a little dangerous. Can accelerate heat stroke symptoms. But I hope y'all stay cool in this summer weather. And have a good one, y'all. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Yeah, that's all. Bye, y'all.